If the voice work of Devil May Cry is known for anything, it's attitude and corny action movie one-liners.
How's that for road rash?
So it will come as no surprise that the game's cast is made up of some very experienced voice actors, and the main star is something of an action hero himself. So here is why the voices of Devil May Cry 5 sound so familiar. Ruben Langdon's route to playing Dante is an unusual one, as although he's worked as an actor since a young age, his role in a lot of his biggest productions has been as a stuntman. He first started out working in Japan, where he trained in fight choreography and gymnastics before landing a role in the superhero series B-Fighter Kabuto. Shortly after, he moved to Hollywood, where he's been performing and coordinating stunts on a variety of TV shows and movies, from CSI Miami to Spider-Man 2, Ant-Man, and even the American run of The Office.
Parkour! 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 I'm right behind you, Andy! Come on! Yeah! Parkour.
Eventually, he also started doing motion capture for Capcom video games, like Resident Evil Code Veronica and Outbreak. So when they were working on Devil May Cry 3, Langdon's company was put in charge of the motion capture, voice acting, and even script localization. That led to Langdon himself taking on the role of Dante in every way. So Langdon is not just the voice of Dante, but also the stunts and motion capture for the character. Roles which he has reprised in DMC 4 and now 5.
There's no crime in turning tail, V. These things might be a little too much for you.
But you might also recognise him as a different Capcom character, but still with red as his signature colour, Ken Masters of Street Fighter.
Yeah, but we had our hands full with the other fights. Couldn't give it our all. Still, it was good to spar with him again.
Langdon has played the role of Ken since the release of Street Fighter 4 in 2008, and in pretty much every appearance he's had since, including the Marvel vs. Capcom series, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and even Wreck-It Ralph.
All clear. The arcade's closed.
Sure you can! Ooh, what a day. So, you want to head to Tappers, Ken?
If you're buying, buddy.
Langdon was also the voice of Dave Johnson, a side character in Resident Evil 5, who ironically wasn't even one of the characters that he did the motion capture for. In fact, he actually did the motion capture for the protagonist, Chris Redfield. Outside of the Capcom umbrella, Langdon has also played the role of James in The Last of Us.
James, lower the gun.
No way, David. I'm not gonna let her go.
Lower the gun. Now give her the medicine.
The others won't be happy about this.
Yeah, well, that's not your concern.
What the hell is that?
She would have turned by now. It can't be real.
Looks pretty fucking real to me.
Langdon has taken on some live action work as well, although they're mainly bit parts on sets where he's already working behind the scenes. For example, he played one of the lab guards in Ant-Man. From 2014 to 2017, Langdon also had a reoccurring role on the fan-created web series Star Trek Continues, and yes, he helped out with the stunts there as well.
What do Romulans want with a bunch of Espers?
I believe I can surmise the answer, Lieutenant.
Dante. I'm gonna go too.
Why don't you sit this one out?
Oh, let you call me dead weight again? No thanks. I've got all the power I need. Right here.
Johnny Young Bosch, the voice of Nero, is someone who will almost certainly sound familiar, and you might even know him for one of his earliest roles as Adam Park, the second iteration of the Black Power Ranger in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series.
Black Ranger power!
Following on from a lot of Power Rangers work in the 90s, Bosch began doing a lot of voiceover work in anime dubs and video games. One of his biggest early roles was in the anime Trigun, where he played the protagonist, Vash the Stampede.
That was a pretty close one. Almost bought the farm back there. It's actually a miracle that I got away with it this time.
I found him! Over there!
Perfect shot!
It's pretty easy to find a series he's done at least some voice acting for, but anime fans might be most likely to recognise him from Bleach, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Sailor Moon, and Blue Exorcist.
Who are you and what do you want? If you think you're a burglar, you're not a very good one. For starters, you shouldn't talk to yourself.
Those are some of his bigger anime roles, but not nearly all. Seriously, he's done a huge amount of work. As for video games, aside from playing Nero, he's known as Yang in Street Fighter 4, Kung Jin in Mortal Kombat 10, and the protagonist in Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair.
My name is Hajime Hinata. There's only one reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy. Because I admired Hope's Peak Academy.
But one of his most memorable video game roles might be the weird double duty he pulled on Persona 4, where he played both the nameless main protagonist and the primary antagonist.
Yeah? So what's your point? All I did was put people in here. It's the world that really kills them, isn't it? This world reflects people's thoughts.
On the non-anime side of things, Bosch also played Ruben in the short-lived 2015 animated series DC Super Friends.
Batman? Incoming!
And here I thought you worked alone.
Well, looks like no one's worse for wear.
Kate Higgins is the voice of Lady, though she's credited in the game as Kate Davis. She's also been a big name in voice acting for a long time, and has a huge list of video game and anime appearances, including a role on Naruto, which she's held for nearly 2 decades.
I mean, have you forgotten? We 3 are on the same team. I can't believe we're fighting each other like we're some sort of enemies.
You're right, Sakura. We're teammates. We should work together. Huh?
You are a total sucker!
She has also worked alongside Johnny Young Bosch on a number of projects, including Sailor Moon Crystal and Bleach.
You're so soft. Hello? Hi there. Is everything okay? Yes. I'm alright. That's my cat. Her name is Luna.
Fate Stay Night fans will recognise her as the English voice of Saber.
My sword will henceforth be at your side. Your fate is now my fate. Our pact is now sealed.
Wait! What do you mean by our pact?
Higgins has also made a huge mark in video games, especially fighting games. She's the longtime voice of Dead or Alive character Tina Armstrong, and has also played characters in the Soul Calibur franchise since 2005.
Hey, Gloomy, can I kill this one?
But maybe more notably than any of that is her role as Pauline in Super Mario Odyssey. Not because of her brief spoken lines, but because she's the vocalist of the game's title track, Jump Up Superstar.
Here we go, off the rails, but you know it's time to raise our sails.
Human blood is the source of demon's power. The fruit born through the Clivod is even more dense than the blood that created it. Its power is unparalleled.
Wendee Lee is new to the role of Trish, but she is one of the most prolific voice actors in the United States, and you might recognise her from leading roles in Cowboy Bebop, Lucky Star, and many more.
You know the first rule of combat?
Huh?
Shoot them before they shoot you.
Heroes of the Storm players might know her as Alex Straza, while Dead or Alive players will recognise her as Lisa Hamilton.
My interest is in top-of-the-line research, not just dough attack. Don't try to decide for me.
She's also taken a few turns at playing Bulma in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super.
Get out! This is the last time I'm going to tell you!
Even in Devil May Cry 5 itself, she pulls double duty, playing both Trish and Eva, Dante's mother.
You need to hide, Dante. No matter what happens, you mustn't leave.
So that is why Dante, Nero, Lady and Trish might sound so familiar to you. But let us know where else you recognise their voices from, and which other video games would you like us to look at next. As always, this is James Vercass, saying thanks for watching, and enjoy the game.